All right, testing, testing, testing. All right, this is the first annual Ford Classic put on by Secret Wong and Clay Belvoir. This is the hot seat match being played at 15th Street Grill in Auburn, Washington. First game, getting a little bit of a late start here. Mark Goodwin versus Dan TOURANEAU. It is modified BCA rules, rack your own, alternate break, race to 6, 96 player tournament. The final 24 in the money came back today. Tournament started yesterday morning around 10:30 a.m. Mark's got a chance to separate these balls here, but it's 15 still in a funny spot, so trying to decide how he wants to hit this. Try to control where his other balls go. He wants to make sure he has a shot after this. Let's see what he does. Justin Lee and Patrick Nix helped get the setup and everything over to Secret for setting up this stream. But I can tell you, if you see a little bit of bouncing of the camera, it's being streamed off of, I believe, a phone camera off of a tripod on the tournament desk right in front of this table. So sometimes people are bumping against it. Yesterday, Clay had to remind me of that because I was leaning against it and shaking my leg, so it was probably giving some motion sickness to some viewers. So if you do see that, it's a little bit of a temp setup for this event. Like I said, this is the hot seat match, down to the final 8. Right now, you have Daniel Sardencio is playing Stephen Weekly. Looks like Daniel's up 5-4, race to 6. The winner of that will play Gus Targonsky. And then you have Ed Hobbs playing Nick Kruger. Looks like Nick's up 2-0. The winner of that plays James DeVee. Of course, the winners of those will play each other. Then the winner of that plays the loser of this. So these two guys are guaranteed top 3. Let's see if he got the angle he was wanting. He's looking at it. A little bit of frustration, so he's probably not in the right spot. Can't tell. He might be just a little too straight. I think he might have wanted to be able to run this, have a little bit of an angle, maybe even be coming in at this line here, to be able to have the cue ball come and just separate these balls just a little bit, and then be able to play the 12 in the top left and play short side to the 15. But he didn't get where he wanted, so let's see what he develops here. Yeah, he had to try to punch that. He's got a shot on this 12, but the cue ball is going to be traveling down this direction, probably more on the right side of this 6 ball. So he can't just play it to this side over here. So that's why he's looking to see what he can do if he gets laid up right next to that. He'll basically just be trying to leave himself a tough cut to play the 15 in the bottom left. It's not easy either way. Mark tends to get out from a lot of crazy spots though, so I would not bet against him in this spot, even though he's in a funky spot. Maybe a safety here. No, he hit that pocket speed. Yeah, let's see what he can do here. If you're out there watching, let me know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for. I'm commentating from Yakima. Man, what a great shot. What a great out. This is to take the lead. I'm not sure if Stan broke first. We'll find out right after this. Yeah, what a great out. That's why he's here. He been putting in work. From Seattle area, Jason. Nice. Did you come down and get to check any of it out this weekend? We're just watching from home. Yep, Mark's gonna be breaking. I can tell you, Mark didn't have the easiest of roads. Looks like he played Rudranil, probably butchering the name there. First round, Cleveland Baylor in the second round, and then he played Luis Santiago, the third round. Chandler Dakota, strong players there. Nick Kruger, and then Gus Torgonsky is who he just played to get to this hot seat match. And then, of course, Stan. Stan probably had the toughest draw through the bracket, but it's Stan, so it's not surprising he got here. But he played Jing Liu in the first round, Manny Estrada in the second, then him and Daniel Sardencio played in the third round. Then he beat Dan Louie in the fourth round, Stephen Weekly in the fifth round, and then James DeVee in the sixth round to get here. So definitely putting in work. Yeah, Jason, it was a tough field. I played, didn't play the best. My opponents did, so I ended up coming back today. Just got back to town, Yakima. Um, Here I jump on. There's not a whole lot of commentating going on through these matches, so it's money day. Figured give these guys a chance to not have to just listen to the elevator music, you know. If you want, if you can, share this link to some of the pages. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that like to see this. I would, but I'm kind of already multitasking on some other stuff, so for work, so it's gonna be a little difficult. You like the music, Jacob? I just waiting on his opponent next to him. Stripes look good. 8-ball's in a funny spot, but he's got the angle right here. I think if he plays this right-hand English, plays with some speed, he's going to be able to move the 8 to the left side of the table and come 2 rails off it back to the center of the table. Oh yeah, he tried, but he just thinned the 8. He definitely was planning on hitting that 8 thicker. Yeah, he was wanting to definitely hit that 8 thicker to get it to come off the end rail. Even if he didn't get it past the 6 and everything towards his left pocket, as long as it got down towards the end rail to where it's pocketable from either side, he would have been fine. Wouldn't have been tough playing shape down there, but when he shot that ball, he was trying to hit it thick into the pocket so that it deflect off enough to move the 8. But when he hit it thick like that with all that inside, it didn't deflect as much. It kind of straightened up. So let's see what he does here. Curious because now that's eight's in a terrible spot, and from all these balls he's got, he really has to break that 8 out from the 12 ball in the side, which he's not going to be able to do now, or from the 10 ball off this end rail. He wants to leave himself an angle so when he cuts it, the cue ball can come straight back up this way. Problem is he's still got to figure out the 11. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, all right, so he might be trying to get up into a little spot like right in here. That way he could play this with like some left-hand English and come off this direction at this. Yeah, almost in line with what he was looking at. Well, might be a highlight reel shot. I might have to save this for a replay because he wants to come off and hit this 6, get the 8 to separate and get a shot at it. Oh, missed the ball. Yeah, that was going to be hard either way. Once he didn't move the 8 to the end rail, he was in tough shape. And there's not really a whole lot of options for safety, especially with somebody up at Stan's caliber. I mean, not a lot of options for safeties there that's going to earn you anything better than what he had right there, probably. Stan's going to just play safe and separate his balls here. And probably won't get ball in hand, but balls are able to be pocketed now. or another safe if he needs to. Oh, he didn't get him froze on the 8. Left him a little crossbank here. That 8 goes in the top right too, so yeah. Yeah, he can't really do much with that to keep it from scratching is what he's looking at, but he's probably in a spot where he just has to go for it. Yeah, I did get him nipped there. Let's go. What a shot. Wow. Wow. He had to spin that ball a little. Great shot. Telling you, this guy gets out of so many spots. Sure, Stan's pretty frustrated he just left him that. He definitely didn't want to give him a chance at that. Yeah. 2-0. Stan's got the break. Let's see that again. With that to keep it from scratching is what he's looking at, but he's probably in a spot where he just has to go for it. Yeah, he did get a nip there. Let's go. What a shot. Wow. Wow. Yeah, that was great. Definitely some good stuff there. Yeah, he doesn't look like he's in the mood to miss much, does he? I can tell you there's been a little frustrations with the break. I know Stan and Dan, a few people have had some frustrations. Just struggling to find a good break that you're pocketing balls and not getting like just terrible clusters. Yeah, that was a good break. See if this cue ball sits up. Gosh. It's not the prettiest of tables, but starting with ball in hand here. I don't know if that 2 passes. I don't know if he's going to start with the 5 or the 13. He's looking to see if that 8 passes the 10, 12, whatever that is there. I feel like if the 2 passes, you just shoot the 5 in the side and move the 8. If the 8 doesn't go by the 10. If the 8 goes into this side pocket over here, then you don't need to move anything. It must, because if it didn't, he'd probably put the cue ball over here and cut it in and move it. Yeah, Jason, that was Stan came in and was working on his break this morning because his head ball break, he was breaking really good, but he was dry breaking over and over and over. He could not make a ball no matter what he did. Magic rack or template rack or standard rack, didn't matter what it was. And he finally got frustrated and went to the second ball break because he was wanting to just make balls. Said he knew he'd get clusters, but he just wanted to make sure and pocket balls. Definitely didn't want to scratch, though. Yeah, I'm curious to see if he's going to try to play shape up in there to the 2-4 now, or if he's going to try to leave himself a little angle on this or get on the 1 to hold shape for one of those. But Surprised he started with these balls down here. I know they're not the easiest to get to from up there, but yeah, playing right into that window. Oh no. I don't know if the 4 passes the 2. Probably not. Probably going to have to shoot that 1 on the side and try to find a way to get back in line. Yeah, he definitely didn't want to do that. He had a good line coming off for the 6 to get there, but this is the kind of trouble why I was figuring he would just start in that cluster up in there, and then he could play back down to these from the 1 or whatever. He just didn't want to have to play shape to the 8 from down here. But I think he would have been better suited just to move the 8 off the 5 starting. But then again, we're sitting from home, and he's playing for the hot seat. So, gosh, it's a great shot to kill that cue ball, and just comes up short. He killed it too much. Yeah. Yeah, he's going to try jumping the 5 in. You got to make it and try to hold shape right there. Don't like him leaving that butt end of his cue in that pocket there. Shouldn't be an issue, but oh man. Yeah. I tell you, he gets out of crazy spots. I would not doubt it if he cuts this 2 into the top right corner there. He plays it over to here and somehow gets it to come off that 9 with a bunch of left-hand English and kill it off the end rail and be able to have the 4 in the side or this bottom right-hand corner. You can pretty much pocket balls from anywhere. As much as I'd love to see it, I kind of don't either, because I don't want this to be a runaway either way. I want to see a good match here. Looks like Daniel Sardencio and Gus Targonski have started their match. They're playing for the 5th, 6th spot. Daniel's playing to get to either one of those guys win. They're going to be playing in the final 4. Strong tournament by Gus. Daniel got put to the B side by Stan, and then he's just been powering through on the B side. So lots of good matches in this tournament. Yeah, that's what he tried doing. All that outside, though, kind of helped throw the ball to the right side of that pocket there, but he had to try to kill it to be able to have a shot like this on the 4. I'm in trouble, though. Stan doesn't have the best of layouts, obviously. That 2 makes things a little more complicated sitting up there. But got an opening shot. Favor him to find a way to get out here and get back in line 2-1. It'll be Mark's break though. Let's see what Stan can do. Got a little flat on the 11, so I don't know if he's going to try to draw this direction. I don't know if that 15 passes, because he'll want to come off and be able to at least get to the 9. So he's going to have to get lower. Yeah, it might not. Maybe it does pass. Yeah, it must. Yeah, must be tight. Yeah, I mean, he's got this 14 he can play in the side, and he can bring the cue ball and try to get the cue ball down lower, but just a lot of movement. If that 15 goes, he wants to play it right now. I'm sure he just doesn't want to have to fire it in. He's got to do something to be able to get shape too. Yeah. He was going Hollywood on us. Thing went center pocket. Looks like we got some more viewers in here. Let me know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for. If you don't know either of these guys, then you're being treated to a pretty solid match here. And it just crushes it from the side. Yeah, the head brake hasn't been working the best. That's why a lot of the guys have been breaking from the side. It's hard to get a super tight rack, even with a magic rack, because wear and tear from these balls, and long time they've been here. There's some balls are different sizes than other balls, so second ball break typically helps ensure you're going to pocket a ball. It's key to have control after the break, even if it's a clustered break. You still want to have control. Rich Fear in the chat, watching from Yakima. I'm commentating from Yakima. Choose a solids. Huh. A little weird. Came up short. Thought he'd hit that a little harder. He might have tried to hit that a little harder. Maybe thought the spin would throw a little more and come off and maybe bump the 4. Curious if he can do a stop shot on this 6 and just play it safe and lock him down. But like we've seen for most of these racks, Mark hasn't slowed down to play a whole lot of safeties. He wants to get out. And like I mentioned before, I don't blame him. It's hard to get into that kind of game with Stan, too. Sometimes it's the shot. Got a text message that Stan TOURANEAU's name is spelt wrong on the stream here. So if you are trying to look him up for any reason, Fargo or anything, there's a G in between the N and the U. So yeah, Rich, I agree. 3's in a terrible spot, but what he might be trying to do here, just because I know how aggressive he is, he might be trying to play shape to play a combo on the 4-6 and drive that 4 up into the 3. Yeah, he's needing to open that 8 ball too. But he came up short, so he had to go a different route, play the 1 first. Yeah, cuts us in thin. He can separate this 3, depending on what he gets, the 5 ball. He can play that to break out the 8, or even play to bank on the 8 if he needs to. If anybody wants to see a pretty good little out, you can go to rewind the stream back to the ending of game 2. Stan plays a safety on Mark, and Mark makes a great shot. Yeah, a great shot. All right, chat. What do you do here? Do you play the 3, play the 5, and try to get short side like over here to be able to bank the 8 to here? Or do you try to run into that 8 ball, manipulate it, and move it over to pocketable position and just kind of take what you get? I like moving the ball. The one thing I like about playing shape to the bank is you know what you're going to get. And Mark banks plenty fine, but he left himself longer with a little bit more of a cut shot to just hold for a good angle on the bank. So I'm sure he's going to break this out. Might be playing this 8 into the bottom right. Oh, shoot. Can't tell if it goes in there or not. No, must have. Stan gave it back. Yeah, good little out there. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier in one of the games, Mark's just kind of been getting out from everywhere. I mean, really, he's only not gotten out that one time in that game. Stan had to try to play that safety, and then he made a great shot to get out. He's getting out with some pretty good outs. I'll be honest, I was surprised when he was breaking that 8 out that he hit it so soft. Might have been because he didn't like his angle and he wanted his English to make sure and taking it over there. But I thought he'd hit it with a little bit more speed to try to get the 8 to come off and come out towards the center, so he had pockets to play it in. Like I said, we're sitting from home. He's playing in the hot seat, so hot seat match. Yeah, Jason, like I said, you know what you get when you play shape to that bank. But Mark probably figured he'll have a good pocket for it, and if he doesn't, he'll bank it somewhere else. Who knows? I don't know who Unique is. I'm not sure I'm your pumpkin or if you're asking about somebody else. But I am at home in Yakima, remoting in for this. Yeah, 14 or whatever is tied up on that 2 is in a really terrible spot. I'm not sure Stan wanted to come this far off. I almost feel like he was wanting to leave the cue ball more in this spot so he could pocket it here and drive the cue ball into this. Could be wrong. Oh, where's your pumpkin? Well, this is who I think it is. You got to realize I call a lot of people pumpkin, so a lot of people have been calling me pumpkin. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't take it. I don't know where your pumpkin is. And we didn't get a play for it either, so we'll have to figure that out next time. What a great shot. Oh, he missed the 14. Dang it. Now, you'll hear me being a little biased right now, and I like Stan, but I like Mark too. So I'm definitely not biased in caring who wins this. Uh, I'm biased towards wanting to have a good match. Yeah, Stan's just going to use that 15 to separate that 14. I'll be able to play to it right here. I text the tournament director about somebody shaking that table, and I don't know if it's one of the players or what, but see if we can get him to slow down a little bit. The table that the tripod is sitting on also happens to be the table where these two players are sitting with their cues lined up and everything. So, and of course, everybody's coming over to talk to the tournament director about money and payouts and side pots and everything you can think of. Oh, that ball goes in the side. I don't think I can't tell if he's straight in or on the wrong side, but either way, if this ball goes, then he can just adjust his adjust his draw and draw back a little, come off that rail and play the 8 in the same pocket. Oh, I missed it. Yeah, it was not easy. Curious. Let me look back here. See which part of the pocket it hit. Yeah, he hit the inner point, which means that ball was probably super tight. And like I said, he also had to kind of do a little pinch draw and draw back off the rail and back over for the 8 ball in the same pocket. So not easy. He didn't leave an easy out for Mark here either, but Mark has some easy safeties. I would play a safe off the 7 down here if I was going to play a safety. You could shoot the 6 and draw back and hook him behind the 8, but I think this ball goes into this side. It's hard to tell, but you don't want Stan having a chance to kick the ball in. So I'd probably play a safe. Just put the cue ball down on the end rail down in this area here. But like we've seen, Mark doesn't like to play safe unless he absolutely has to. And maybe a two-way here. Is he going to play the 2-4 and play the 4 off the 1 to the bottom corner? Yeah, that's what he was trying. Playing it like a two-way though, but he gives Stan a bank here, so I don't like that at all. I think you just go for the all-out safety, because you could separate those balls with ball in hand. They probably went into this right side pocket as well. Definitely don't want to give your opponent a chance to actually win the game. Oh, overbanked it a little, and that's probably going to hurt. Mark's got an open table now. Doesn't miss much, so odds are he'll pick this apart. Curious to see if he's going to leave his 6 ball for his key ball for the 8. I wouldn't like to, but from center table here, he can easily just play back off over here or come off the side rail and over for it. So it's not a bad option, but I don't like it. I think if it plays to the side right now, you just shoot that to the side right now, come back over for the 2 on the opposite side, or draw back for it. Whatever he does, though, he has to shoot what he's comfortable and confident with, because last thing I want to do is have an open table and not get out. Yeah, I'm not sure why he was trying to do that. Now he's got to come with another great shot, play the 6 into the same pocket. Yeah, I was wondering what Nook meant. Meant to say no, makes sense. I figured. Man, he hit that super soft. It's not going to get there. I mean, I want to say he was holding shape for the 1 there, and he wasn't trying to play it like a two-way. But at the same time, I'm not quite sure why he hit it so soft with all these other balls out here. Yeah, tried to kill it off that rail and it killed it too much. So guys, looks like Nick Kruger won his match, so him and James DeVee will be starting up. Oh, Stan. Yeah, a little bit of that's the result of leaving that cue ball on the rail right there. Still favored him to make that, though. Didn't leave it easy. Yeah, so Daniel Sargentio and Gus Targonsky are playing, and Nick Kruger and James DeVee are playing. But none of them are keeping score in digital pool, so I can't tell you what the score of any of those matches are. Yeah, it's almost, it'd be super hard to miss this 6 ball right here, this combo. Tried, definitely tried. Gosh, now you're in that spot where you need to play the 3 because you're on the 3 right now, but you have no way of playing shape for anything off of it because the A ball is going to kill it right there unless you draw back. And what are you drawing back to? I mean, you'd almost have to draw back into a similar spot you're in to play the 1 in the side or the 7 in that top corner. It's blocking the 8 right now, so he's going to do something different, but I almost feel like you'd be better off shooting the 7 in that top right corner. Oh, we missed it. No, yeah, favorable pocket. Yeah, Rich, I agree. Using the 7 was more of a straight line, almost hard to miss it. Even if you come off the rail first, it's going. The only way you could miss it or kind of get funky there is if you come off the 8 first, which is what shooting the 3 ball ended up doing. I'm going to get motion sickness from this camera. You see Daniel on the top of your screen there playing. I'm assuming he's up in the match only because I haven't really seen Gus to the table a whole lot. Haven't been paying attention, but maybe the 3 doesn't go. Oh, yeah, 3 goes. Yeah, he just was. Yeah, just playing some 2-ways because he didn't want to sell out the rack there. Stan's in a bad spot because even if Stan does something like, I mean, he can't really play the 8 and block the 3 with it in front of that pocket, but even if he does something that comes off here to hit the 8 and then combo the 3 in, cue ball's going to sit here, and that's an easy combo or easy pocketable ball on the 4, and it's even natural shape up table for the 1 on the side. So yeah, see what Stan does. See if he goes aggressive. You know, might try to freeze him on the rail and on the 3, get the 8 out into the open. Yeah, good shot. Well, now he's back in that spot. Just needs his opponent to make a mistake here. It seems pretty easy to play the 4 to come down. You don't have to hit it soft. You can let your stroke out. It's hitting it thin enough. You're not going to that top right corner. Yeah, just like that. Yeah, Stan was in a bad spot after he missed that 8. Mark's taking a 4-1 lead here, and the break. Stan's just going to give it to him. Race to 6. Alternate break. This is a bad spot for Stan. All right, if you're just tuning in, a lot of these guys have been struggling with the breaking head ball first, so most of them have moved over, breaking from the side. Some are breaking second ball, some are still breaking head ball. That one actually looked like he broke, and it almost looked like he caught the first and second ball at the same time, which typically sends the cue ball to that top left corner, but solids look pretty good here. I think the 1 passes the 7. If not, he's got the 3, and I'm not sure if the 1 passes the 7 or the 5. Yeah, it's a pretty good table. Yeah, you can see Gus up in the top of your screen there, running out, looks like. Nice shot, Stan. Gus has been playing pretty good pool. Had a strong tournament this weekend. I seen him on some brackets in the last month or two, doing well in other tournaments too. So trying to stay in that match with Daniel. I'm not sure what their score is. Yeah, Stan should be out here. Just 4-1-7-2-8. It's all pretty much just laying there. He drew back a little bit more than he wanted. Yeah, let's see if he stuns or comes off the end rail. Back out for it. Yeah, comes off. Yeah, he just wants to look if he runs into that 12 ball because he came a little far, might be a little bit on the wrong side. He doesn't want to come run down into that 12 ball and not have a shot at the 8. But, I mean, I think he can probably, pocket's big enough there. He can change his cue ball position a little bit to run down. Or he just do that. Great shot. Yeah, Jason, seeing a little bit of pattern racking, you think? Haven't even paid attention to it, but it's modified BCA, so definitely shouldn't be seeing a whole lot of pattern racking. 4-2 with the break. It's good. Stan needs a good break here to be able to pull within one, keep this match close. Although you did see a little something different out of Mark in that last rack. I mean, the first 3 or 4 games, you didn't really see Mark missing a whole lot. In that last game, it almost seemed like he was trying to do too much, too many times. I'm not sure if he was just trying to force stuff or trying to play some two-ways along with it or what. But he didn't get out where he normally does, so. So I don't know if that's a little bit of the Stan effect, getting a lead on Stan and trying to force things or trying to find ways to close it out and not really doing everything the same or what. Must be in a little break. See Daniel up at the top of your screen there getting out again. Yeah, good shot. It's another one. If anybody's in here that wasn't at the very beginning, I'm going to show you a replay in a second of the shot I mentioned where Stan played safe. He didn't quite get where he wanted, but he left Mark a spot where he had to masse the ball just a little bit and then do a cross bank. I'll load it up real quick with that to keep it from scratching is what he's looking at, but he's probably in a spot where he just has to go for it. Yeah, I did get him nipped there. Let's go. What a shot. Wow. Wow. Yep. And then he just cut the 8-ball in and won that rack. Stan had a clump of, 2 balls that were tied up there, so he just played those balls to separate them, tried to freeze them on the 8, and he just came up a little short of being on the side of the 8-ball. Gave Mark that chance. And really, if you look back on it, that's the separation right here, because if he doesn't leave Mark that opportunity and Mark doesn't make that great shot, this match would probably be 3-3 right now. All right, here we go. Stand with the break. Trying to stay in this match. Pockets that ball right in that bottom corner, that top corner. Yeah, can't tell if he can do a little 3-ball combo there. 9 plays in the side. You know, solids. If he can get a good angle for his cue to stroke that 3-ball in, he can draw off the 3 and bump into this 15 here to separate the 2. And he'll have a pretty easy table. I'm not sure if he can squeeze by the 5 to come off the side rail at it. I don't think so. Just needs to make sure he doesn't, if he goes for something like that, he's got to make sure he doesn't, you know, I wonder if he can play the combo on the 15-2, play the 2 off the 10. It almost looks wired. Yeah, he's going to take stripes. He's trying to cut this 9 thin, I think, and run into the 6 fairly full. Well, he's going to try to draw around it, I guess. Yeah. He's probably afraid of just clipping the 6 and coming to the bottom left here and not leaving himself this shot. Needs that 15 to get open. What did he get? Yep. Stan is so good about working these kind of racks out. So many people can work these racks out, but you see them getting themselves into tougher and tougher and tougher spots. Where Stan starts with an ugly table, and it seems like he keeps getting himself into better and better and better spots throughout the course of the rack, which is why he's just so good at 8-ball when it's coming to these bar box tables. Those clusters. Daniel just made a great shot on the 8 in that top table. Yeah. He wants to split this. Come off this way. See what he chooses. He's putting some low on there, which means he wants to spin between the 7-8. Low right. He didn't go far enough. I think he can see the 14, but he definitely wanted to play the 15 next. A little bit of commentator's jinx there right after I talk about how he's making all these racks easier and easier. Or the 13, if the 13 passes the 14, that's probably the ball you're going to want to shoot. Shooting the 14 first will push the 13 into a bad spot with the 5. He's good to the 14, but does the 15 go? He's getting down into this pretty fast. Oh, and it goes. That's pretty fortunate. 15 didn't get tied back up on the 2. Oh, what a great out. 4-3 with the break. Oh, no, he broke that one, yeah. All right. Let's see what Mark can do. Mark hasn't been breaking the best. He's been struggling with his break as well, so. For anybody that doesn't know, this is the first annual Ford Classic, 15th Street Grill, put on by Secret Wong and Clay Belvoir. So many tournaments for players that have been big impacts to the community are done after they've passed away or moved on, and it's more of a memory thing, a memorial thing. People tell stories and kind of remember that person. But Clay wanted to do something for somebody like Ford that's still here, so they can be a part of it and be a part of the stories and see how much people appreciate them and love them for what they've done for our community. And Ford's been huge in that, and it showed with all the players that turned out and some of the stories during the players meeting right before the tournament yesterday morning. It was pretty cool. Cool little tidbit that I believe Ed Slade someone told, was that, and Ford kind of spoke about a little bit. Real quick, back to the match. You see that Mark just moved back to the head ball break. Struggling with his break, so he's trying to change it up, find something different. But the famous Z kick that Efren Reyes did hill against Earl Strickland, Ford was actually the referee for that match. That was back in the day when he was running tournaments and refereeing major and pro events. And that iconic shot, Ford was there. He was the first one to shake Efren's hand after the match. Pretty cool story to hear, and then to hear him talk about it. When he's looking at stripes, he's just trying to figure out the best route to the 10, make sure the 8 passes so he doesn't have to manipulate that. If it doesn't pass, he might even be thinking about trying to draw straight into that 8 ball right now. See what he comes up with. He got to that 10 ball. He's probably looking at his angle to try to split between the 2-7 with some outside English. Play down to this 13. You could also use a bunch of right-hand English, go between the 15-5. He just doesn't want to hit that 5 ball and get funky to the other set of balls or tie it up on the 11 or something like that. Wow. Or he could just do that. For sure, he'd load up with more outside to try to come between the 7-2, but that works too. He's trying to figure out what he wants to do. I mean, he can play the 14, 13. If he gets himself the angle, he can play up into this area off the 15, coming off this direction. Play the 11 in the side for the 8. So essentially his 11 ball is going to be the key ball, unless he has to play to like a combo on the 11-15. The end of these racks right here where it's so important to get your specific shape. You got those cluster of balls up there. Can't believe nobody out there is trying to tell me who they're rooting for. Friends, family, nothing. But he's afraid to say. Yeah, Brian, like that, I made that comment a little bit ago about, I'm assuming he's up big. They weren't keeping track in digital pool, so I couldn't see any of the scores, but just seemed like every time I was looking up there, Daniel was at the table, and every time he was at the table, he was pretty much just getting out. He got pretty straight on that ball. Tried to, I don't know if he was trying to stun it over or just stop it right there. I don't know if this ball passes to here. Doesn't appear that it does. I'm not sure. He's in a bad spot here. He had a stranglehold on this match for a bit there, but this is one of those racks and one of those spots where you don't want to let this start feeling like it's slipping away. 6-1, huh? Nice. Oh, he drills it and then comes all the way over there. I mean, he didn't scratch, but I don't know if he could see the 8 to make it. If he can see it, he's probably going to have to overcut it into the 6 and go in, which means he'd have to let the cue ball loose. That's just no good there. Tough, tough, tough. Yeah, I mean, it looks like digital pool shows that Nick Kruger is up 2-1 on James DeVee. Nick's been playing pretty strong. The winner of that plays Daniel for 4th place. Yeah. He knows this brack's pretty important, especially if Stan's getting his break figured out like the last rack. Overcut it, took the pocket. But, Stan, play this 3, and if he can get to this end rail, he can play the 6 off that 8 ball, move it for the 1. If he plays this 3 and he gets that cue ball down here, he should be in good shape. The 2 might even pass. I can't tell, but 5's kind of blocking shape for that. So he just wants to play the 3 and just get to the end rail. At least that's what I'm thinking needs done. He might have too much angle though. He might be coming into that 5 ball. He might have to use a little bit of English to slide down past it. Yep. Well, if he can see the 6, this is the shot. It's kind of on the wrong side of the 6 ball though. He'd rather be further, closer to that rail, so it's just natural shape coming out for these other set of balls. Take what you can get. That's exactly what I wanted, though. It's shaping up to be a good match. Yeah, good shot, Stan. If he was shorter, if he was closer to that rail, he probably would have played the 6 rail first and then into the 8 and in the pocket. But he had to manipulate that angle a little bit, so he had to play 6 off the 8 first to create the angle to get out here for one of these other balls easier. Yeah, I think he's wanting to play that 7 in the side there. Oh, wow. That's twice he's missed the ball into that side or into a side pocket. He shouldn't have missed. Cost him the game both times. All right. Mark's on the hill, 5-3. It stands break. Crazy, crazy. You don't see that a whole lot out of Stan. Yeah, Stan's got another good break. Solids look pretty good. So yeah, I mean, Jason, I did go back and look at a lot of those racks, and you're right. I definitely see the pattern racking there. A lot of people rack on the same way every time. So sometimes I don't put too much stock in it, but I did notice that when he was racking, it was racked a certain way when he was breaking from the left. And then when he moved over and broke from center, he racked identical, but it was flip flop. So those sets of balls and everything were on the right hand side of the rack instead of the left. So definitely a little thought in mind with the racking. I don't think it's really paid any big dividends yet, but all right. Stan's going to bring it 5-4. Mark's break. Man, there's two games. Stan missed that 8 ball in the side pocket earlier, and then he missed that 7 ball in the side pocket in the last rack that just completely changed the whole dynamic of this match. All right, so most likely he'll be breaking from the left again. At least the way the balls are being racked dictates how he's going to be breaking from the left. All right, 5-4. This is an important break for Mark. He wants to try to finish this match. He doesn't want it to go hill with Stan breaking. Not after his last couple breaks, been breaking runs. Oh no, he scratches on the break. I think that's the first time Mark scratched on the break in this match. The stripes are wide open. Yeah. Wouldn't be surprised to see him start with the 14 and then go to the 9-12. Yeah, he's just going to go straight for the 12 or the 9 right now. Or he's just waiting for the other table. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah, take care of that 14, 9, 12 now, and then the rest are pretty easy to mop up down here. Not going to say anything. I don't want to create any commentator curses here. Done it a few times. Yeah, 11 ball. feel like 15 ball would have normally been the key ball to the 8, but that little bit of angle on the 13, he didn't want to try to just hit a soft and hold for the 10. So I don't think really much matters, but anytime you can make it as easy and natural as possible, best to do so. All right, Hill. Who do we want to see win this thing? Both these guys played a strong tournament. Like I said at the beginning, though, I don't care who wins. I just want to see a close match. I like both these guys. They both play good, so. Daniel's up there at the top of your screen. Looks like he's warming up, trying to stay warm, I should say. Just waiting for a match, trying to stay loose. Nick Kruger's up 5-1 on James DeVee. Nick wins that. He'll be playing Daniel for 4th place. And the winner of that will be playing the loser of this. 15th Street Grill in Auburn. All right, here it is. Biggest break of the match. Made that ball in the corner. Has a big cluster. Didn't get a lot of action off of that. I mean, he pocketed the ball, but I mean, solids are looking good, except for that 7 ball's funny. I mean, honestly, nothing looks real good right here, other than my motion sickness from this table rattling. Like I said, these players are just sitting there at that table too that this camera's sitting on, so it could be something as simple as Mark leaning on the table with his elbow and shaking his knee or something, and it's going to get a lot of shaking of the camera. And as a tournament director, you're definitely not going to want to tell one of the players to stop doing something like that. Stan's taking a lot of time here because he knows whatever he chooses to do with this first shot is going to be major for this whole match. And this is a big game for the tournament too. All right, choose the solids. Mid shape to the 5. Little angle. Probably just going to try to stun into that window there between the 9-14 for the 2 or the 4. I don't know if that 7 goes. I don't know what his plan is there. Curious now. And he's a little hampered with that 9 ball. He's going to be bridging a little different. Makes that shot a lot harder. Yeah, he didn't want to do that. He still has a shot here on the 4, but I'm pretty sure he was wanting to leave himself an angle to play the 4 and spin over into the 6 or the 7. You know, play it and have the cue ball. Come off this direction and run into this, because then he'd have the 3 and the 1 as his backup balls. But if he could have got back to the 1 ball and left himself a back cut on the 3 to that corner, he could have ran down in the 7 and had the 4 on the side as well if he needed to too. So hard to know what he was thinking there, but definitely didn't want to clip the 8 and get stuck where he is. And that's all due to that 9 ball, just making it tougher to stroke. That was one of those, I'm going to drill this 4 and hope that this turns out favorable for me. Is this 7 ball play to here? Looks like it might. Oh, he's playing the 3 off the 8. I mean, if he hits this good, he's going to be hitting the 8 so that the 8 comes this direction. Yeah, he hit it too thin. Well, it's not over. Mark's got a lot of work to do. That 7 ball is causing a lot of problems for Mark, too. You see what Stan was doing there. I mean, if he hits that cleaner and the 3's down table here, then he has the 1 in the side with an angle playing up table to be able to do something with the 7 ball and hopefully get out there, but he missed. Got 12 passes. This is a really good opportunity to separate the 7. Get the 10 to move forward a little bit. That 14 in the side. Depends on his angle, though. I don't think you want to shoot this unless you can move the 7 as well. You don't want to leave your 15 in a funny spot by just moving the 10. I'm going to go with the 9 ball first. Must just have too much angle on that ball. Yeah, he got pretty straight on this 14, so he should be able to get where he needs to on that 12. Yeah, I think he wanted to drop back a little more. He left himself an angle working away from those stripes. I don't know if the 10 goes. That's what he's looking at, where he wants to get for it. But that means that he'll be shooting the 10, trying to figure something out for the 15 as his last ball. And he'll just be having to take whatever he gets. Now, if he's got just a little bit of angle and he can just punch this ball a little bit and get that 7 to slide over, he'll be sitting right on that 15 ball. Oh my gosh, and I'm doing all this talking. The 15 passes the 7. That's what he's looking at. Trying to play shape back to the 10. All right, it's a big shot. Oh, did he get it? Looks like it. For those out there, Nick Kruger beat James DeVee, so he'll be playing Daniel for the 4th place match. Oh, this might be tighter than it looks. Well, it looks tight. We'll see how he cues up here. Yeah, what a great shot. What a great shot. Take a look. We'll be back with the 4th place match on this stream on EvoSports Streaming on YouTube. Great out, Mark. Great match. All right, guys. Be up next with Daniel Sargentio playing Nick Kruger, 4th place. And the winner of that will be playing Stan to go to the finals against Mark Goodwin.